When the fifth dealership told Daniel Carter his truck was finished, he almost believed them. Almost. The silver 2014 Ford F-150 sat outside his tiny garage coughing violently every time the transmission shifted. Grinding noises. Jerking acceleration. Burning smell. According to the dealerships, the repair would cost nearly $9,000. More than the truck itself was worth. One service manager even laughed sympathetically. Honestly, man, you'd be better off junking it. Easy advice from someone wearing a Rolex. Harder when that truck carried your entire life. For Daniel, it wasn't just transportation. It hauled construction tools. Picked up his daughter from school. Delivered side jobs at night. Without that truck, everything collapsed. And lately, collapse already felt dangerously close. Then his 10-year-old daughter Ava looked up from the passenger seat quietly. "Are we gonna lose it?" Daniel forced a smile. Not yet. But privately? He had no idea. 3 months behind on rent. Construction hours cut. Medical bills still lingering from Ava's asthma treatments. And now this. Life had a brutal sense of timing. Then Ava pointed toward a narrow side street they almost passed accidentally. "Dad." "What?" "There's a garage there." Daniel glanced over skeptically. The place looked ancient. Small brick building. Faded sign reading, "Martinez Auto Repair." Half the letters burned out. Honestly, the garage looked one strong wind away from retirement. Daniel sighed tiredly. "Ava, we already tried 5 shops. But this one has flowers." "Flowers?" "By the window." That was apparently her metric for mechanical competence now. Still. They were out of options. So Daniel pulled in. Inside the garage, old rock music played softly while an older man worked beneath a lifted Camaro. Gray beard. Grease-covered hands. Calm eyes. The mechanic slid out slowly, wiping his hands with a rag. "What's she doing?" Daniel blinked. "You haven't even looked at it." The old mechanic shrugged lightly. Transmission noises sound different depending on the lie. That was either wisdom or madness. Possibly both. Then Daniel explained everything quickly. 5 dealerships. Dead transmission diagnosis. Repair quotes impossible to afford. The mechanic listened quietly without interrupting once. Then finally he asked, "Mind if I drive it?" 10 minutes later, the old mechanic returned from the test drive looking deeply unimpressed. "Well." Daniel braced himself. "How bad?" The mechanic leaned casually against the truck. "Transmission's fine." Silence. Daniel blinked. "What?" "Torque converter sensors failing." Now Daniel stared openly. "That's it?" "Mostly." The mechanic pointed underneath the truck. "And 1 vacuum line's cracked." Daniel's brain struggled processing this. Because 5 dealerships claimed catastrophic transmission failure. Then cautiously. "How much?" The mechanic thought briefly. $300. Daniel literally laughed once in disbelief. "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." Then Ava whispered dramatically. "Dad." "What?" "I think the old wizard fixed the truck." The mechanic snorted softly, trying not to laugh. Then Daniel frowned carefully. Every dealership said the transmission was dead. The old mechanic's expression changed slightly. Not angry. Just tired. Dealerships replace systems. He tapped the truck lightly. Old garages repair them. That sentence hit hard. Because suddenly Daniel understood. Replacing the entire transmission made dealerships thousands. Fixing one sensor made them almost nothing. Then quietly Daniel asked. So they lied? The mechanic shrugged. Maybe. Pause. Maybe they stopped knowing the difference. That answer somehow felt worse. Then Daniel rubbed exhausted hands over his face. $300 still hurt financially. But compared to $9,000? It felt miraculous. Then awkwardly he admitted. I only have $200 today. The mechanic waved dismissively. Bring the rest later. Daniel stared. You don't know me. The old mechanic looked genuinely confused. You've got a kid. Like that explained everything. And honestly, maybe it did. Then while the mechanic worked, Ava wandered around the tiny office looking at old racing photos covering the walls. Dad! Daniel looked up. What? This old wizard used to race cars. The mechanic groaned quietly. Please stop calling me wizard. But Ava already grabbed a framed newspaper clipping excitedly. Local driver wins National Circuit Championship. Daniel blinked toward the photo. You're Luis Martinez. Now even he recognized the name. Legendary independent mechanic. Former racing engineer. People online literally called him the transmission whisperer. The old mechanic sighed deeply. That was a long time ago. Then Daniel looked around the old garage differently now. Not broken down. Experienced. Then Ava pointed toward another picture. Why'd you stop racing? The garage went strangely quiet. Luis continued working another moment before answering softly. My son got sick. Ah. There it was. The kind of pain parents recognized instantly. Then quietly he added. Needed something stable. Daniel nodded slowly. Because suddenly the old mechanic made perfect sense too. Another father who rebuilt his life around survival instead of dreams. Then 2 hours later, Luis lowered the truck from the lift. Try it now. Daniel started the engine cautiously. The grinding noise vanished immediately. Smooth shifting. No jerking. No warning lights. The truck felt alive again. Daniel sat there stunned, gripping the steering wheel. Because for the first time in months, something finally went right. Then Ava screamed excitedly. The wizard did car magic. Luis actually laughed this time. Real laughter. Then suddenly a black Mercedes pulled into the garage outside. Luxury dealership branding covered the side doors. 3 men stepped out wearing expensive suits. And the moment they saw Daniel's truck running perfectly, their expressions changed instantly. One of them frowned toward Luis. You fixed that already? Luis wiped his hands calmly. Yep. The suited man looked irritated now. That vehicle was condemned. Luis smiled faintly. Funny. Then he tapped the repaired sensor sitting on his workbench. Because this $70 part says otherwise. Silence. Daniel slowly realized something horrifying. These men weren't surprised the truck worked. They were upset. The garage went completely quiet except for the soft ticking of Daniel's truck engine.